Is there somebody in your business that you're kind of holding back? Is there somebody in your business that you haven't recognized that potential? Are they ready for more?
Have you given them the opportunity? Yeah. And also, are your fears holding them back?
If you want more time, money, freedom, and have a business that's not reliant on you, then you're in the right place. Each week, Mark Creedon, along with some of the very best business minds in the world, will take you through simple, practical steps you can take to create the business you always wanted. From his own practical experience, Mark will show you how to work less, make more, and get the business you always wanted, the one that you deserve. Now here's your host, one of Australia's most sought-after business coaches, Mark Creedon.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Mastermind for Business podcast, the podcast for people who are in a relationship as couples and in business, where we help you in around about 15 minutes or so every week to navigate some of the very specific things that comes from being in business together and being a couple. And as always, joining me in the chair is Caroline. Caroline, wrong one. Yeah, press the wrong button. Welcome, Caroline.
Thank you, Joe.
Hey, listen.
I only have to push one button.
I know, just one job. Hey, listen, let's talk about growing your people to grow your business. So you came to me the other day and you go, I've got this great idea for a podcast. It's about growing your people to grow your business. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, I should say good question. It is a really great topic to talk about, I think. And it's all about leadership development and being able to create leaders who essentially grow your business through your growth, essentially. And what I'm meaning by that is being able to extend the capacity of your business by extending the resilience of your team so that you're not the only person, or there's not just one person that the business relies on. So if you can create leaders who are, wanting to show elements of growth or their ability to grow a business and also have innovation, then you're going to be in a position where you're going to have multiple leaders multiplying your business.
Yeah. I was grabbing my phone then because I read this great book the other day called Obvious Atoms. You know me, I'm on a bit of a book reading thing at the moment. And I read this great book called Obvious Atoms by Robert Updegraff with coverage by Dr. Robert Worstel. But in it, they talk about the true role of a leader is to grow other leaders. And they gave as examples Sam Walton from Walmart. They gave, and like a number of examples of people who were true leaders and expand the way they. Ray Kroc from McDonald's was another one who they say made more millionaires out of their leaders than they could ever possibly count. But the way that they grew their business and continue to grow their business sustainably was by growing the people in the business into leadership roles. So, making leaders out of leaders and leaders and leaders. And so that's how the business grew.
Yeah. Yeah. It's scalability. You personally can't scale a business that is in size or revenue without having more people to be able to help you in that team.
Yeah.
And I love watching the, teams in the businesses that we're with, or watching our clients with their teams, looking at watching their teams grow and evolving into great leaders. And, that in itself brings a lot of benefits, whether it's staff retention or culture, all the way through to customer service. If your team are feeling like they actually have an impact on the business, that is going to flow right through to customer service.
I wanted to tap into that because I think it's kind of easy to go, oh, okay, so we're going to grow leaders in our business and that makes us feel good, makes them feel good, so we'll all, sit around a campfire, sing Kumbaya and give each other a hug. But the reality is the more that you can grow the leaders in your business, it creates a number of things. It affects the culture in a positive way. But more importantly, I think it does create this culture of accountability, and people take ownership of problems. And we've done this lots of times when we've helped people build leaders within their business. Suddenly they stop being the problem solver because the people that they've built up to this leadership level now start coming to them with so part of the solution, not part of the problem. They take ownership of it, and then they start guiding the people that are working under them to do the same thing. So suddenly what becomes is not just a great culture, but a culture of accountability and ownership. And I think that's vital for growth and expansion in the business.
Yeah. They become the coaches of the business, which is a great asset for you. if you're managing essentially down the group and then your team leaders are managing their people and coaching their people, there has to be growth in there, which is great.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the other thing too is to understand that as a leader in your business, and guys, you're listening to this, and whether you've got 1 or 10 or, as some of our clients, 400 team members, the principles pretty much apply the same. So even if you've only got one person, if you can help that one person that's working for you to grow into a leader, what will happen is they will take ownership, they'll take accountability. But the other thing is they take on board the trust that you've reposed in them. And so they will feel more empowered. And so the ability for them to go out and be proud of what they do, to speak highly of the business they work for, to go and actually business development, even if they're not a business development person, will become more relevant and more prevalent because they have this element of empowerment from you. And that just leads to scaling the business as a matter of course, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, there's a skill in being able to teach somebody the safety of taking a risk, and a calculated risk, yes, but taking a risk. And, they're going to be acquiring new skills in that process. So the comfort levels that they go through will shift and change as that risk becomes more comfortable.
Yeah, and I think that the more that you can build this trust and empower the people around you, I mean, if you can create trust, empowerment, accountability, and ownership as in those four areas, what will happen is people that are working for you will suddenly just take the business on, and they will start to really, really be a part of that scaling for you. And I always remember one of our clients in New Zealand said to us once, when we started working with him, and he was involved in everything, in all the day-to-day operations. And suddenly he rang us one day and went, wow, I've just looked at the books and my business has grown 20% and I didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it, because what he had done is empowered people that were working for him into leadership positions. They realized that he trusted them. They felt empowered. They took ownership of it. They were accountable for it. And suddenly the business just grew.
Yeah. They were making great decisions all on their own.
Well, that's right. I mean, and the other thing, closer to home. So we talk about you've got to have the right people in the right seats on the bus, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, we go one step further and we go, it's the right people in the right seats with the right tools and the right support. But it's always amazing to me that if you pick somebody who you do put that trust in, you do empower them, they do move into that leadership role, by investing time and development into them and making the expectations really clear, suddenly they step up. And I'm thinking Shelley, right? Mm-hmm. So we put time, energy into Shelley, helping her to become a leader. And now suddenly she's moved into this massive leadership role that she deserved. Like, we didn't do it. She deserved it. She got it. It was always there, but I think for a number of years, nobody recognized it.
No.
But, once it was recognized, empowered, trusted, accountability, ownership kicked in, bang, here we go. So the area that Shelley looks after, we don't even need to think about anymore, really.
No, we
just look after Shelley, and she looks after the rest.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a pretty cool concept.
It's great because, one thing that we often don't do as business owners is stop and ask our people and ask our team what it is that they want to achieve, what innovations they have, what do they really like to do, in what ideas do they have, and having, opening up and having transparency with the goals of your business and where you want to take the business can often lead to, one of your staff saying, oh, do you know what? I'd love to be a part of that. I can actually help you do this. And have you thought about this?
Yeah, and in the McDonald's example, it's exactly what Ray Kroc did. So apart from all of the other realizations for Ray Kroc around what McDonald's was about, one of the big things he realized is that you can take somebody and you can, if you follow that process of trust, empowerment, accountability, and ownership, you can mold them into a leadership position where they can lead your business. I mean, McDonald's has, 18, 19, 20-year-olds leading a division or leading a store because of the way they go about it. And now that's sort of documented and processed, and it's a part of the McDonald's DNA. But it just shows that you can do that if you, and I guess the challenge I'd put out to somebody listening to this episode right now would be, is there somebody in your business that you're kind of holding back? Is there somebody in your business that you haven't recognized, that potential, are they ready for more?
Have you given them the opportunity? Yeah. And also, are your fears holding them back?
One of our clients in the Mastermind program came to us the other day and said, I've got this person in a leadership role, but I don't really think that they're leadership material. And of course, the immediate question we went was, okay, well, let's look at what work have you put into them? Well, I haven't put any work into them. I've just given them a leadership title. Well, that's bound to fail.
Yeah.
Like, only in the rarest of circumstances would that actually succeed, where the person just pushes on. But you don't want that, because if somebody pushes on and it succeeds in spite of you, they're not going to hang around for long, because they're going to realize that you're dragging them back. But it was interesting once we challenged that person and went, okay, so let's look at this leader you've got. What are the things that we can do to show that we trust them, to empower them, to give some ownership and accountability? And once we put that in place, they'll start to blossom. And suddenly, I think the great thing is, if you've got good leaders in there, you don't need to worry about that part of the business. You don't need to worry about that aspect.
No.
You can just get on with it.
Yep. You probably still have to worry about, well, not worry, but you still have to sort of look at things and look at what is working, what isn't. What isn't, what you can twig and those sorts of things. I think it's not just a set and forget. You have to nurture.
Perfect. That's a perfect word. But you know what? The other thing too is, you're right. It's not a set and forget. But the good thing about it is, when you're talking about tweaking and adjusting and coming up with innovations and stuff, if you get good leaders in place, they'll do that for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They will actually come up to you and go. So, we know that in the various businesses that we've worked with, and I'm thinking Tim for a second here. So once we grew the leaders in that business, suddenly Tim's going, oh, I don't even need to worry about that anymore. I just need to look after that person. I look after him and be a mentor for him and continue to support him and help him. He now looks after the rest of the stuff down the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means then that the business owner can get onto doing the things that business owners should be doing. Now, maybe that's spending more time with the kids, the grandkids, the wife, playing golf, going fishing, going on holidays, whatever it might be. Or maybe it's actually just, scaling the business. I don't need to worry about the operational things anymore, because I've got a good leader in that role. Now I can get on and do what I've always wanted to do, which is make this thing bigger than it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Just touching back on the nurture, if, we've got some listeners who maybe they're not a nurturing type, or the concept of nurturing doesn't come naturally. When I say nurturing, I don't necessarily mean going around and giving all your team a hug and pat on the back and saying, well done, all that sort of stuff, because you can't anyway. But that's just a matter of, having those regular communication, one-on-one communication conversations, and just checking in all the time. How's things going? You're doing great. Positive feedback. If there is negative feedback required, then make it a positive turn. Yeah,
and I think so. As we go through this, Caroline, you could sort of say to somebody listening now, what's one thing you could do in the next 7 days? And I think it would be to have kind of a growth conversation, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's about going, finding a member of your team and saying to them, what's one thing you'd like to take more ownership of, or what's one project? I actually did this yesterday. So I sat with some leaders in the business of one of our Mastermind clients. And the way I put it to the leaders was this: if you were walking down the beach and you stubbed your toe on a lamp, you rubbed it and the genie popped out, and the genie said, you can focus on one project that you think is going to bring a real difference into the business, what would that project be? And it was fascinating to watch them go, well, actually no one's ever asked me that, so I'm struggling with the answer. That's okay. You don't need to come up with it now. Let's come up with it over the next few days. But I just think just running, what's one pet project that you'd like to take more ownership of, that you think would really benefit the business, the people in the business, the clients, whatever aspect of the business it might be.
Yep.
And ask them that. And I think that's a super empowering way to show that you're prepared to invest in leadership. And can I just say one last thing on that point? Because I use the term invest quite deliberately. You've got to invest in your people.
Yeah.
Right? If all you do is go get a badge printed that says leader or manager or whatever, and there's a massive difference. We should talk about in another episode the difference between managing and leading. But if that's all you do and you give them a title and an extra 10 grand a year as a pay rise or something, that's doomed to failure as well. So you actually have to invest in them. And investing is time, money, attention, and genuine interest and care.
Yep. A title without the skill is just an increase in your payroll. So
yeah, that's right. Pay more payroll tax.
Yeah, pay more payroll. So you may as well, it just doesn't make sense not to help educate and encourage your team.
Yeah, 100%. So the challenge for you, dear listener, as you're listening to this, is to do this. Think about one team member that you think could really step into some leadership and ask them that one growth question. What's one area that they would really love to focus on, that they think that they can improve, that they think they could grow? Give them the opportunity and then nurture that. So consider that as planting a seed and like water it, fertilize it, nurture it, and see what comes of it. And what will happen over time as you get used to doing that yourself, they'll step into a leadership role. They'll take over more responsibility for your business, and the business will become a lot easier for you.
Yeah. And if there is a chance that you might be a bit of a control freak, let's look at how you can train yourself so that you can actually give them the opportunity and you can step back.
Right. And I think the other thing too with that is, if you're listening and go, yeah, that is I really struggle to let go. Don't worry about letting go for the moment, right? Don't worry about go. Just empower that person. And what will happen is they will just slowly and surreptitiously take it away from you, and you may not even really realize it.
Yeah.
As what happened with our client. So, it's don't be afraid of being afraid of letting go. That will probably take care of itself.
Yep.
Cool. If you are listening to this on your favorite podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is, please like, subscribe. If you know somebody who's a couple in business and you think they would benefit from this, please share it with them. If you are watching this on our YouTube channel, we'd love to hear your comments below. If there's a particular topic that you'd love to hear Caroline and I talk about that you think would help you as a couple in business, or people you know as a couple in business, please put it into the messages below, and we'll make sure that we get to that. In the meantime, as always, thank you, Caroline. I won't press the wrong button. Thank you. Always good to have you here, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Mastermind for Business podcast.